Parliamentary updates.
The Rotunda Gallery launched an exhibition titled Through the Eyes of Women, a Tapestry of Trinbago's art. The exhibition was a continuation of International Women's Day celebration, with the theme aligning with goal number 11 of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, Sustainable Cities and Communities. A first of its kind, this exhibition featured a wide range of pieces from female artists such as sculptures, acrylic on canvas, and photography. The Parliament channel spoke with some of the artists about their work.
This is an awesome feeling. I just celebrated my 48th birthday, so this is a birthday present of all birthday presents. And I'm surrounded by family and friends, very, very close family and friends, and I'm happy. This exhibition here is like the highlight of what I've been doing for the last 20 years. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful to God. I'm thankful for the Rotunda for giving me the opportunity to showcase. I love nature, so most of my shots are, as you can see, raindrops, caterpillars, nature at work, flowers. So I love nature because it is so organic. What you see is what you get. There's no filter, anything. This is it. And I'm thankful. As we just celebrated International Women's Day, I'm happy that we're able to showcase all the creatives right through the country, and at this time we need this. We need this. Women need to come out and showcase their strengths, and we're seeing that right now.
So I was into batik really for about 20 years or so. And then I started to develop little pains and stuff that prevented me from doing it. And that's how I got full-time into acrylic painting. So this piece, Island Life, actually it was inspired by a trip I made to St. Vincent. I went there, I was asked to come to do some missionary work for a couple months there. And to spoil us a little bit, they allowed us some free time. So while there, I mean, the plane is so tiny and you can only take very, very little over. So I just took a sketchbook and some color pencils. And while I had free time, I just started to draw because we were near the seaside and I love the sea. And I love fishes, and you know, you were smelling the salt and everything, and I was just inspired and I started doodling. So when I left there after about 3 or 4 months, I went to help my daughter in New York, and she said, well, Mom, let's just go get some paints. And so I had a little drawing of this in a sketchbook. It was a little different, and then I got this large canvas. And then I started to do it, and so I think I like to work with elements and shapes and color. So I picked out what Island Life was in terms of a seaside thing, with the fish and the nets and the surfboards and the sun and just the warmth of the Caribbean. It really touched me because I think that what women see or how we see is so very different, and there is a depth. And very often, it just goes unnoticed, you know, and we go about things and you do all of your duties very silently, and you do all the other duties that people put onto you, but you do a lot of observation, you do a lot of reflection, and I think that is the strength of that is captured when women paint. They just see things very deeply, and so I was just very honored that I even got a call to see, you know, to be part of this exhibition, because I thought it was so special and it was a way of honoring women.
As a child growing up, whenever we would get like new clothing, my mother would always take us out to UE and have our photos taken. So it's something that I'd always liked, because I mean, you see the beauty around you, and then you could look back at the pictures, they hold a lot of memories. So I just have a love for it. Having a love for nature and wildlife also. The fact that with the hibiscus itself, capturing the pollen and just the water, the dewdrops on it, is a lot of knowing that a bee, a bird could feed off of this nature. So, and then the fact that you could just capture growth, life in water, the lilies on water, is a form of rebirth. And to know that something so beautiful could grow in such a vast amount of water, yeah, it's refreshing. I think the team, it goes in hand amongst the fact that, you know, as you normally would say, coming out of International Women's Day, and then with the photos, it's like a rebirth for women in those who are in politics, those who are in photography, art. It speaks volume.
About 3 years ago, just before the pandemic, I was home doing little art work, and I love to play with paper. So I was looking for a medium that I could channel that. And my sister actually introduced me to quilling through a YouTube video she saw. And after studying it for a couple of videos, I said, this is something I can get into, and I'm enjoying it so far. It's a simple technique, but it takes a lot of time and lots of commitment to bring things to life and whatnot, and it's very relaxing, so I got into it easily. But due to the theme, I was thinking back, you know, through the eyes of a woman, and I started to reflect on my experiences of family members, my mom, my sister, experiences of women in general, and the things that we have to endure, things we have to overcome, and we do it underneath a blanket of strength, which what inspired the lioness. So a lioness strength, a lioness courage, and they protect, they nurture. So I didn't want it to stand out too much. I wanted it to come across as essence. And the woman, I did her colorful just to represent women on a whole. And the veil is to represent the dainty side, the soft side of women. That's what the community, that's what the world sees mostly. And our strength is very silent, but yet loud as a lion. So that what inspired this piece. Through the eyes of a woman, I love this theme. When I got the email for it, I got excited because women are going through a lot, and right now the things that are going on in the world, and the topic right now is women. You know, what is a woman to society? So it got me excited that I could give my side of the story, I could give how I feel about it through my artwork and through this theme. So it got me excited, and I think it's an important topic right now, currently.
So my background actually started in film and theater, and I followed that passion for many years, and I got a theater degree in New York, and expressing myself visually has always been a part of my life, my whole life. And after my theater degree, I went to film school, and I fell in love with the production design. So building of the sets, painting styrofoam to look like brick for all of the Christmas movies filmed in July, and fireplaces. And that really got me into expressing myself, not just narratively through stories, but through visual media. And so I decided to do a degree after film school, so many degrees now, in fine art. And I fell in love with painting, with oil painting and also ceramics. So this piece is part of an ongoing study of mine on female bodies and presence and identity in different spaces, and particularly in carnival, which I think is a really beautiful, it's the backbone of so many of our traditions, but it also has this element of hypersexualization of women, and we're all aware of how dangerous sometimes it can be for women in the world. And so this piece in particular is highlighting a duality of the expression of joy and freedom, but with an ever-present shadow in the background, you know, that danger is ever present, even when you are trying to be your most liberated self. And so I've got, some abstract figures, and there's just this slight voyeurism, slight haunting in the background that juxtaposes the joy and expression. I think it's so great to celebrate women and the difference of women, and that how we contribute to society, so many different things, so many different mediums, how we play such a huge role in bringing together society. And for me, I think that this exhibition in particular highlights so many different voices and so many different ways of seeing the world.
I come from a family of sculptors. My dad, I started by looking at my dad sculpting. He never got into mainstream like the galleries and so on, but he did little wood carvings. And my brother is also a sculptor, Sean Peters. So I would look at the both of them sculpting, and I fell in love with it then. This piece was from a collection I did called The Standpipe, and the standpipe featured all the different aspects of the standpipe: the people waiting, the people bathing, people chatting, quarreling. The standpipe was like the meeting place, the meeting hub of the community long ago, and it's something that no longer really exists. So this exhibition was to highlight that. This piece is called Grammar. So while you're waiting, you would play a game of grammar, you would walk with your ball, play some moral, hopscotch, that kind of stuff while you're waiting. So that's what this is about. I think the exhibition is great, mainly because it highlights female artists in a mostly male-dominated field, and it gives us an opportunity to showcase and highlight our talents. And I'd like to thank the Rotunda Gallery for that.
So I got into sculpting when I was in secondary school. I first began actually drawing and doing graphic arts, but then one day my art teacher just brought in this hunk of mud in class, and I think the love just sprang from there. And ever since then, it's just been clay and three-dimensional work. So from secondary school, I did it onward to Form 6, then UE, and continuing it now. So this piece is actually from my collection from last year. It's called Viaticum. That's the name of the collection. This piece, Family Line, is actually about transitioning of knowledge and heritage onto the young ones. So it's very maternal. As you can see, it's a mother kind of weaving or creating her own child with her string. So the more she creates a child, is the more she loses of herself. So it's kind of like a transcendence. Also, the finish of the piece is bronze. So the mother is kind of an aged bronze, and the child's like this fresh bronze look. So yeah, it's all about that that passing, that natural passing of life cycle, etc. Oh, this theme is actually, I love that it pays attention to the perspective, the feminine perspective, and it gives that insight into how Caribbean women and the Caribbean experience through a woman's eyes.
The exhibition showcased some of the most outstanding female artists in Trinidad and Tobago who specialize in various artistic styles and expressions. Stay tuned for further parliamentary updates. For more information, visit our website at www.ttparliament.org and follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram.
Parliamentary updates.